Here is a revision tour for you in if, elif and iteration programs. Okay, watch the video very nicely and implement the things in the practical. All right, practical implementation is very important for you all. Well, students, now I am explaining the assignment that had been given yesterday to you, whether a number is exactly divisible by another number or not. A very simple program to understand. So simply what you have to do is that you have to enter the dividend, you have to enter the divisor, and then n1 modulus n2. If the remainder is 0, then it is divisible, otherwise it is not divisible. See the output of this program. I'm executing the module out here right now. Okay, so enter the dividend. Suppose I'm entering 235 and I'm entering the divisor as 17. Let's see whether it is divisible or not by pressing enter. Is divisible by 17. Well, now the second set of things I'm entering for the else condition. If the condition is not false, then what will happen? So I'm entering now 987 and I am entering here say 11. Say 11. Okay, clear? So it is not divisible by 11 actually, but the thing is that here I have not given the proper command. That's why this is very much important. So you should give the proper one. Is not divisible by will be the right thing. Okay, is not divisible by n2. All right, now I'm executing this program once again in front of you. Okay, clearing it off. Okay, in both cases now you see 235 I am entering what 7. Okay, with 17, what does it show? It is not divisible by 17. Fine. Okay, now the thing is that I am executing now once more this particular program. Suppose I am entering now 200 and I am dividing 50. Let's see what is divisible by 50. So last time it has what was divisible, but I had given the wrong command, a wrong comment out here, wrong string out here. That's why it was showing like this. That's why it is very important whenever you are giving something to print. All right, so this is the actually the output of this one 50 200, but it is not divisible by 17. You can do so. You can check it out also. Fine. So this is the first assignment that I'm answering to you. And next one is our topic is today's is if else construct. It is used in the situation where user can decide among multiple conditions. I'm showing you one slide, then you will understand it better. Okay, just a minute. Yes. All right, this is the one. So where there will be several conditions will be there. Okay, and then what will happen if as soon as one of the conditions controlling the if is true, then statement associated with are executed and the rest of the ladder is bypassed. Suppose this condition is true, then what will happen? This statement one will be executed and the statement just below if else if it will be executed and then it will come back. And if it is no, then it will come to the subsequent condition. If it is yes, then this one will be and rest of the things will be bypassed, and if it is false then again over here, and if this one also false then the else part will be executed. Regarding on the basis of this program we will do one program also. Okay, so the thing is that as soon as one of the condition controlling the if is true, the statement or statements associated with that if, and if this is true means associated with this if will be executed and rest of the ladder is bypassed, means at a time only one condition will be executed. This is only happening when you are having multiple choices. Say for example, you want from the market, you want to come to your house, you are having for several options. You can come by auto, you can come by bus, you can come by private car, or you can come by rickshaw. Then whenever you are getting one of the vehicles, then you will not go for the rest. Suppose you have gone for the auto, you have searched an auto, you have got an auto, then what will happen? You will take the auto and you will come to your house. You will not go for any other things. Yes or no? Any other vehicles? If you don't get auto, then you go for the second thing. If then also you don't get, then you go for the third one. Then also you don't get, then you go to the fourth one. Suppose fourth one is also not available, you have to come by walking, no other way. Fine. So that way the if else if working. Okay, so once you getting it into auto, you cannot get it into any other vehicle. That is the way the expression if else if actually functions. What does it do? If you are summarizing, else is optional. Okay, it is not compulsory. Number of elif is dependent on the number of conditions. Okay, this elif is not fixed. You can give more than if you want. If the first condition is false, the next is checked, and so on. If one of the condition is true, the corresponding statements execute and their statement ends. Fine. So this is what the if elif. Well, students, another set of another program to start right now. Okay, so this is actually how to calculate. How to calculate means you can say it will simulating like a calculator. Fine, it will simulating like a calculator. So how these things to be done? So here, this particular utility, what it will do is actually find out that whenever you are inputting two numbers, it will find out the sum, then it will find out the subtraction, result of subtraction, product, division. That is, one is with the quotient, another division is the remainder division. You know the operator. Okay. Now another is to the power. Okay, exponent. Okay, so this is also by using if else if. All right. Now you can see the program that reads two numbers and an arithmetic operator and display the result. Okay, the little bit. I'll just go that side. Yeah, result. Fine. So we have taken out it here. It will float. Float why? Just for a change. So if the student sometimes enter the normal integers, no problem, and the float also no problem. Okay, so it can cover decimal numbers also. That's why the float data type has been taken. Now what is happening, enter first number, enter second number, and the options have been given in this way. You can arrange it different way also. Input, enter 1 for add, 2 for subtract, 3 for product of these things, and accordingly 1 for add, the addition you can see out here, 2 for subtraction, so 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, that is the quotient, and 5 for this thing what you call remainder division, and another is to the power. All right, so all these 6 are there, and if anything out of anything other than this, suppose 1 to 6 is my valid option, anything out of this if you are giving, other than this if you are giving, in that case it will display you simply one thing, what? Invalid option. So we are doing it now. Right now you see run module. Okay, executing the thing. So very simple program, so I'm just closing this one, just a minute. Yeah, now that's a very simple program. One, if you're entering, result will be sum. Two, if you're entering, result will be what you call subtraction. So like a calculator type. Okay, like we are doing in calculator, the same thing is happening out here. So these things are achievable by using using if elif in Python. So easy to build a calculator, build an application out here. Okay, that is the usage of programming, that the programs you should learn so you can create your own application. So the thing is there, suppose I'm entering two numbers 45 and 67. Suppose I'm entering now 1, it is the addition. All right, now again I am executing this program. You see run module, say I'm doing it as 6 for you. So first I'm entering 3 and then I'm entering the second number 4. So I'm giving 6, means it will calculate 3 to the power 4. All right, so 3 to the power 4 is 81. The string has to be written in such a way that people can understand. Who is not a programmer, who is executing your application, they can understand that yes, this program is of that. Now the thing is that another set of output I'm giving you, checking with you. Okay, run say what you call remainder. Fine. Okay, so 10 I'm giving sorry, I'm giving 50 and then I'm giving 5. So the remainder should be how much? So for the remainder, which option I should give? I should give 5. Okay, so 5. The division of two number is 0.0 because nothing will be left, because 50 is exactly divisible by 5. So the simple thing happens. So whenever you do the programming, always your approach will be how simply you can solve the problem. That is very important for you. Okay, don't go for any complications and complicacy. As much as possible simple you keep your code, so it will help other to use your application. Okay, or anyone, if you are explaining, it will be easy for explaining the program or the explaining the coding for you. All right, now say I'm entering for say subtraction. So I'm entering here two numbers 34 and 56. So result will come what? Let's see, it will come in minus. Okay, no matter, minus is well accepted. That is not the thing. So this program I think will teach you a lot of things regarding if else if and other programs which I have shown you today, the tax calculator. Both the things actually give you a nice atmosphere in order to help further applications using if elif in Python. All right, so that's what. So I will must say that you must try out this one at home, implement it practically, and do different type of programs. If possible, post it in the comment section of your Google Classroom, so I'll be able to check also and I can assess also. Fine. Okay, till then, thank you. All right. Yes, once again, if elif statement. Okay, so the last explanation you might have heard in the video tutorial. Now I'm coming over here once again, now this time with a program. Okay, if you can see the syntax over here of if elif statement, then you can understand it better. Okay, so here it is the if elif statement here. Okay, you can see it better out here. So the thing is that, what does it say? If condition, elif condition, elif condition means if one is true, then this set of statement will be executed. If on the first one is false, then it will come to the second. If second one is false, then third, in that way. So the number of elif condition will depend upon how many conditions or how many options do you have. So here you need to handle the multiple situations. Okay, say for example, suppose every year you got a grade card from your school. All the students, they do not receive the same grade card. There are certain grades are there to be determined by the school authority or the teacher concerned. Say if you're getting more than 85, you will get grade A. Then 70 to 85, you will get grade B, like that. But in any under any circumstances, you will get a grade. Okay. And if you are not qualifying, in that case, you will get the poorest grade. Suppose you're getting below 40, you will get the grade E, in that way. So we just simulate it with the help of a program. Now you see this program, how we do write. Okay, you have seen the syntax over there, and remember, else is optional, else is no longer this is actually no longer compulsory statement. It is not required, but the first statement, this is compulsory. How many elif you will write, that will depend. It is not mandatory that you have to write two elif or three elif or something like that. So now the thing is that what will happen, we will enter the percentage out here. So as per the program says that when P is more than 85, then the student will get grade A. When the marks is falling between the range 70 and 85, the parent will be grade B. And the 60 to 70, the student will get grade C. And then 45 to 60, grade D. And if none of these grades have been achieved, then print E. Means that the student will be awarded grade E. Now the thing is that if you want to get one more grade, say you want to keep it 30 to 45, something like that, then you can put also if you want. Okay, so we are not going to into that. We will simply execute this program with the different marks. We will check out the grades whether it is perfect or not. So first of all, we are checking with the percentage. You see, I'm keeping this code side by side. So I'm giving it 89. All right, 89. More than 85. The first one I'm just qualifying or not checking. So it is showing correctly A. You see, when it has been executed, rest of the things has been bypassed. Yes, I'm executing it for the second time with another value. Now you see out here how it is being executing. Okay, now you see the percentage I'm giving out here says 72. What it's supposed to be? B. Now what is happening here? 72 greater than 85 is false. So it has come down to the second elif. All right. So it is printing B out here. Okay. Now again executing this one with the third one. Okay. See, when it has been executed B, then these these three statements had been bypassed. Okay. Now I'm executing the module once more. Now I am doing the percentage around 67. All right. So you see the thing, it is giving C. 67 is false out here. Neither it falls within this particular range, 70 and 85 range. No, it is coming over here. Yes, it is falling in this range. 60, it is greater than 60 and it is less than 70 also. So it is quite rightly printing the grade C. All right. Now next, again I am running, executing once more to check the fourth one. So here this time I am entering say 54. All right. Now you see when I'm entering 54, it is showing me grade D. So why it is so? Because 54 is greater than 85 is false. It is not within the 70 and 85 range, not within the 60 and 70 range, but it is greater than 45 and less than 60. So it is coming. So whenever one condition is false, it is coming to the subsequent condition and so on. So it is printing the grade D. Now executing once more. I'm executing once more. Here you see I'm entering now say 32. So 32, you see what has been shown E, because it is false in all subsequent ellipse. That's why it is showing me the output E. So this is what, in this way we can check the multiple options or multiple conditions, and at a time only one condition will be executed If that one is true, then rest of the conditions will be bypassed, and if this is false, then the control will enter into the subsequent ellipse. All right, so that's what about the explanation of this particular if ellipse statement and the program. Fine, thank you. In our day-to-day life, we just repeat a task. Okay, we repeat by paying the electricity bill every month, we are paying the telephone bill every month, and sometimes if you see the natural things like a silk moth lay eggs, the eggs turns into caterpillar, a cycle is going on. So this kind of repetition is known as iteration. Okay, so we are going to implement it by using the Python language, where the repetition of a set of statements in a program is made possible using loop constructs. So loop means what? From the beginning, it will start from a point and it will come to the same point, then one loop will be completed. So here also the same kind of simulation we will do by using the for loop construct in Python language. Okay, let's see the programs and just try to get it how these things are happening. All right, so watch it. Now students, we are going with the programs by using for loop iterative structure. Now let us see the programs one by one that you can implement practically. So what is the given, what has been given in the first program, that is for I in range. So remember, whenever you will consider the syntax of a for loop. Now let us come once over here. So I'll show you the syntax of the for loop. Okay, just a minute. So you just wait. This is the syntax of the for loop. All right, you can see it better. Okay, just a minute. You can see syntax means for is control variable, in is a keyword. So for and in is a keyword, though even in English language these are preparation but not for Python. Okay, fine. So now the thing is that for control variable in sequence or items in range, what is there in the range? Suppose if I am giving 1 to 10, that means I am within the range 1 to 10. All right. Now what is happening? After 1, 2 comes. We all know it. 2 after 1, 3 comes. How these are coming? Because the previous value has been modified and then the next value has been generated. Now say for example, you have given 1 comma 10 comma 2. Then what is happening? After 1, what is coming? 3 is coming. After 3, what is coming? 5 is coming. That means the sequence of odd numbers have been generated. All right. So that is the thing. So now we are, let us go. So that is the thing. So then statements in the body of loop. So as long as that control variable will be within that particular range, the statements of the body in the loop will be executed. Moment it is coming out of the thing. Say for example, you have given 1 to 10 and given the step 2. So when you are reaching at 9, till that time control variable is within 1 and 10. Now next number of 9 plus 2 is in this sequence, 9 plus 2 11. So when 11 has been generated, then it is going out of range. So when it is becoming out of range, that time what is happening? It will be outside the loop. Okay, now you can see the second part over here, else has been given, else optional statements have given. So the thing is that if else has not been given, then what is happening? Straight away the control will be out of the loop. Now as else has been given, then what is happening? If else you are giving, set is the optional statement, not compulsory, then what happen? Whatever after else, that will be executed. Fine. So that is the way of execution of for loop. Fine. So let us come to the program once. This is one I want executing for you. Now you see, check out. I'm executing the module. Let's say 1 to 4. It is clearly very understandable out here. 1 to 4 has been given. Okay, so then it is starting from 1 because no step has been mentioned out here. So it is take the step by default, that is after 1, 2, 3, after 3, then 4, then 4 plus 1, 5 it is, then the control variable is going out of range. Afterwards it is coming else. Okay, so it is showing you no break. But if I am say I am removing this one, I am removing this one now. Okay, I am removing this one, then what is happening? Let's see. Now you see out here what is happening. Let's check the difference in the output. Okay, it is coming only 1 2 3. Why no break has not appearing? Because you have not given any else statement, but it has not affected the program of your output. That's why else is a kind of statement which is optional in a loop. Fine. So I think I have made you understand that what is that. Still, then if you have doubt, you can ask me also. All right. So that is the thing. So this is the execution of for loop. So the else is optional, and always you have the control variable must be within the range of values. When it is going out of range, the condition becoming false, then you will be outside the loop. So the control will be transferred. The control will be transferred to the next statement, which is immediate after the loop. And if you are giving any else, then it will be transferred to the else. And if else has not been given, in that case, it will be straight out of the programming environment. So that is what the explanation of the for loop. Okay, for loop execution. Okay, now see one more program that I'm going to show. This is very important for you. So the thing is that I'm printing the first 10 multiples of 5. You can say that table of 5. You can say, okay, run, I'm executing. Now you see how it is appearing. See, it is simply, okay, 55. Okay, now you see up to 55. Because why 55? Because if you're taking 55, it will take 5 less. All right, that's why always whenever you decide till where, one extra you have to take. Suppose if you want to print the 1 to 10 numbers, then you have to take 1 to 11. Fine, that is the nature of Python. So it is just increasing from 5, then next value 10, 15. In that way, when it is becoming 55, it is coming out of range. All right, so that is what this particular program is depicting. Okay, this is the output. So now you see another program how to print the in reverse order. Okay, reverse order is a program that will help you out to understand the range from a better way, in a better way. Now let us see that how it is functioning. All right. So I'm coming over here. Yes, you see here the range will be printed in backward direction. Okay, 60. It will start from 60. It will come up to 0. Okay, then the step has been given -6. All right. So after 60, then 54. In that way, the program should run. So this is also the same thing here. I have not given any else. I have not introduced any else out here. Okay, let's see. It has come straight away like this. So the negative one. So if it is, you would have given else out here, then say else. Okay. So I'm giving out here a message called print the um, multiples of 6. Multiples of 6 have been printed in reverse order. Reverse order. So moment it will print after it will cross the range of the values, so it will go beyond 6. That means 6 minus 6, it will become 0. So it will be out of range and it will come out, and then it will print this particular message to the user. Run, then run module you do. Now see this kind of with the for else has been used only in case of Python, not in other language like C++ and in Java. All right, so there is an error has been occurred. Okay, let's see, I have not closed it actually, so let me close it first. Okay, then I am executing this program. Now let us see that how it is functioning. Okay, chalo. These multiples of 6 have been printed in reverse order. After this, just immediate after this one is coming. So if you want to bring it down, you can give one measure over here, slash n you can give, so it will come down over here. See the change in the output. Okay, just it will show you. Okay, yeah, previously it was coming along with the multiple same line. When I have given slash n, it is a escape sequence you can call. It is like equivalent to pressing enter, that is called slash n. If you give, then you see that this has been printed in the separate lines. All right, this have been printed in the separate lines. So that's what the for loop programming. So you implement it practically. Tomorrow we will come up with some more programs. Okay, thank you.